is Endwalker and what changed from Shadowbringers and what I would like to see in Downtrail, especially since it's the content drought and everyone is losing their minds on Twitter and talks a bunch of stupid shit about the game. I play this game mostly PvE. I don't really do PvP, I don't do crafting, I don't do social stuff, I only raid pretty much. I've done pretty much everything there is in this game. I cleared first year of this expansion week 1, Abyssos day 3, all ults on all roles except for healing top. Yeah, I do PvE, which doesn't mean that I'm good at the game. I am good at the game, but or that you need to listen to me, but that's just my perspective, where I'm coming from. Last time in Shadowbringers when I did this, I mostly talked about the jobs and predictions for the next expansion, but this time I want to talk more about the game itself and the jobs, although I'll do that too. Yeah. Overall, I think Downtrail was good. Like it's easy. Like now when you have nothing to do, it's like easy to yap about the bad things, but overall I think it was pretty good. I'm not gonna like rate it or compare it to the others directly, like order them, tier list, whatever. I think it's kind of stupid. I think the MSQ, the leveling MSQ, was very hype, very emotional. It was very fun to go through, like talking with friends and like see them talk about something and like getting there yourself and seeing that. In that regard, it was very cool, very anime. But like after the hype died out, looking back at it, like I wouldn't call them, I don't know, writing very very deep. Like it had like less world building than, I don't know, some other expansions. It's mostly about the end of the world. I'm glad that the ASEAN saga is over, because we had it for 10 something years. Although like, they said it would be over with this expansion, but then like all of the post MSQ was also about ASEANs, like ASEAN Prison Raid, ASEAN Gods 24 Man, ASEAN Thunder destroyed World, the Moon, the first or whatever, whichever it was. But at least now it's over. The post MSQ was kind of shit. Not gonna lie. I think it's a very common opinion that people have, and I agree. I think Zero is boring. I kind of didn't care about your story. I think it also went kind of nowhere. It just happened, and that's it. Maybe we will see more of your in the next expansion, but I kind of hope not. But that's the extent of my story analysis. Like, I'm not very good at talking about such things. Other than that, the Endwalker had some nice overall like gameplay changes with the PvE content they added and some system changes they have made. For instance, I think the portrait system was really fucking good. Like, the implementation of it is turbo dog shit. Everyone knows that. But overall, being able to like customize your character and have it displayed in randoms in like Duty Finder, Party Finder is pretty neat, in my opinion. It's just that they really have to make it not as bad as it is right now. Few things that on top of that, a few things that I would like to see is I would actually like to have dynamic plates where like your pose and effects and everything is the same, but it updates based on your gear. Which is basically like, why couldn't they make something like a setting where you select snapshot my current character and use it always and never bloody ask me again to change it or like update it, or the other setting that is always use my current glam visual whatever, and also don't ask me to change it all the fucking time. But that's how I would envision doing the system. One more thing about it is that I would love to have more like visual animation effects. Like your weapons glow in the portraits, but I would like to have some other kinds of soft animation where you have like some particle or something, I don't know, glowing. I think that would be cool. I would also like to be able to, instead of regular poses, to use some of the maybe skill effect animations, do those, because they can look really fucking cool. That would be nice to add. And that's probably the extent of it. They added a bunch of new PvE content to the game. I think Criterion was a really good addition in my opinion. It gives something to do to a lot of people. Like there is a baby version that anyone can run, and it has like a bunch of lore for people who cares. It has an easy version with some glam, something, I don't know, something to get out of it. People complain all the time about lack of rewards. Personally, I do not care. For me, like the content itself, like the fights, the fights and the bosses is the reward. But I don't know. I guess something would be nice. More like I don't think we would need more gear, but glam plates and everything related, or titles or something like that could be a nice addition. Speaking of baby content, the baby content was fine. Like the trials were okay. They are never outstanding, but like Barbaricia was good. Golby's These Nuts was also pretty cool. 24-man started off really strongly, but I think the first trade was really cool, but the other two, I don't know, kind of fell off. Third one was the worst in my opinion. It's extremely easy, even like for the baby content, it's extremely easy. Like nothing does damage. It's impossible to wipe, and that's probably what they want to address when they said that they made the game too easy, because it's virtually impossible to die. The last boss of the last 24-man does 4 auto attacks at the start, and then doesn't auto attack at all. How do I know? Because I early pulled, and the tanks were really PC about it, and I kept tanking the boss for the whole fight as a DPS. Where am I? Let me look at my notes. Oh yeah, that's the extent of the baby content. Right. Speaking of porters, one more thing is, I would really like them to do right. I would really like them to improve the fucking glamour plate system. Not being able to change it in the other world is fine, but like, can I maybe change it like at my house? Like, what's the point of having your house if you can't change the place there? It's, I don't know, kind of silly. And with the addition of 2 newer jobs, I hope that they will add more plates available, because now you have 20 and you have exactly 20 combat classes, 20 with the inclusion of Blue Mage. So you can have 1 plate for each class, which is cool. But when we'll get 2 more, maybe we have enough. Maybe I'm speaking out of my ass. I don't fucking remember. Yeah. But that's the casual stuff. What I mostly want to talk about is the raids and the jobs. The raids were fine, but they were just that. They weren't outstanding. Like, I think second tier was kind of a flop. But overall, like, fights didn't really stand out to me. It's like, oh, so cool, so epic. Both like mechanically and thematically. Like, nothing like not Perfect Alexander, but Alexander 12 or Cruise Chaser or Kefka or Omega or, I don't know, Titan. There were good fights, but like, I think the Phoenix, despite obviously the visual color palette issue, I think was a really good fight. But nothing was like big fiction, big cinema. And they were also extremely formulaic with how they designed the fights and the tiers itself. Like, all 4 fights of a tier follow the same structure. You have the first fight that basically has 1 mechanic, the 4-fold here, the dog jumps here, and the downtime limit cut here. Then you have sort of a gimmick fight, like here it had the different arena, in 10 it's different arena, and here it's just the weird gimmicky fight. Then you have third, which is basically stacks and spreads. Phoenix was stacks and spreads, 3 was to a lesser degree, but stacks and spread. This one was fucking stacks and spreads and proteins, so like all over the place, which is fine. I like them, but it's just like it gets repetitive. And the last one is like the last fight is usually the best one, and maybe with exception to this one, it was good. They are all good, but it's usually the debuff galore. You get a mechanic, you get a bunch of debuff, you watch a streamer solve it day 2 on Twitch, and then you fucking copy it. I don't know, like I really like the second phase of this fight. It might be my favorite, at least like thematically. The mechanics were kind of whatever. Second act was very cool, and like all the theme with like Thors and tethers and delayed mechanic, I really loved it. But still, it's not like I think could have been more or better. The DPS check on this one was really funny, especially doing it like hardcore prog. They backpedaled like so hard with 12. Like here you could fail a DPS check while playing perfectly by not having enough crits, and here you could have like 3-4 deaths week 1 and still clear. I think something in between would be cool. I mean, the fourth fight was kinda it, to be honest. I'm gonna talk a bit more about it later with ultimates, but I don't mind door bosses like a lot of people do, but I would rather have 2 like 8-minute fights split with a checkpoint in between than, I don't know, 1 14-minute fight. But what I do mind is fucking fake enrages where you need to bring the boss down to an arbitrary health. I think it should be way more obvious that you have run out of time, and like this is the DPS check, and like I just don't see why can't they have you kill the boss, just bring it down to 0. Like what's the point? It was so overdone this it was so overdone in this expansion with all of the door bosses, all of the ultimate bosses like multiple times. I don't know, please stop doing that. The other issue that really bothers me with like the Savage Fight designs is that they are pretty much all are. Let me grab a snack. Oh. Is that they are all fucking striking them, yeah? Well, almost all of them, almost all the time. But you just hit the boss and you never need to disengage. There is no time. Like you do the same rotation on every boss, every pull, every time, which gets boring. It gets repetitive. Ultimates in this expansion in that regard were way better with like downtimes and cliff scenarios. But for the next expansion, what I would really like to see for Savage Fights is anything that breaks up your rotation, whether it's like 2 or 3 or even more target cliffs, or having 2 bosses, or having more downtime. Like downtime is probably my least favorite thing, because well, you just do nothing. Like high concept is kind of boring. But downtime forces you to adjust your rotation. Sometimes you need to delay your 1 minute for 2 minutes. Sometimes you need to delay 2 minutes to 1 minute. Sometimes you can do some orthodox things, like as a monk you can do downtime perfect balances. Something like Firewall in top was really fun to optimize in top. Like something like that in Savage would be very welcome. Basically, stop making me have hit a strike and dummy. I want to do different things. I want to press different buttons. That would be like my number 1 wish list, wishful thinking thing for the next expansion in terms of like raids. I was thinking maybe going over all fights, but I don't know. Can't be bothered. They're fine. The 3 was like by far the worst one, and that's about it to the extent. Next, well, I already started talking about Ultimate, so I might as well continue. I had a bad experience progging that fight, but after like taking a break and coming back to it later to reprog it on different jobs and roles, it was very enjoyable. I think the fight is like really good. The mechanics are good, like strength is fine. Strength, sanctity, they're downtime mechanics, but they're mostly fun to do, in my opinion. Hole, as people call it, phase 3 Needhole limit cut. Probably my favorite mechanic of that fight. Like I procced it as a red mage, and you had like exactly enough movement tools to not lose the GCD at all. Like on healers, it was cool. There is a bunch of unique DPS optimizations with like boss getting wooln up after some time after sanctity. So like as a gunbreaker, for instance, you would do early sonic break nashing combo, but then you would keep like the last hit of your nashing combo and do burst strikes, and then the weakness would appear and you would do double down in the last hit of nashing combo, for instance, which would in turn like change your GCD order in the next phase and so on. Or like the ninja, you could do a very late trick between sanctity and strength and have like an extra PK fit into that trick and so on and so forth. Like on eyes, some jobs can multi-dot like monk, or the other two jobs that have dots other than healers, obviously. Like movement, the swabs, it was cool. The rewind, in my opinion, was kinda like it's really annoying to heal as a healer unless you're a white mage. The limit break is kinda awkward, and like having to dump like having 2 minutes there feels kinda, I don't know, bad, because you only need to bring the guy down to like 25% HP, right? And you can almost do it without 2 minutes. Maybe you can do it now with overgear. So I don't know, you just dump it into nothing. Like it feels pointless from like, I don't know, emotional lore, whatever standpoint. Like you go so hard on this guy and he doesn't even fucking die. I don't know. Having that on ice or like at the start of P5 would be cool. Death of the Heavens, like personally, I really don't like that mechanic. I don't like gaze mechanics and I don't like knockback mechanics. And wow, the Death of the Heavens has both of them. You know, it's kind of awkward. The paddles are hard to see. They can disappear under you like very quickly. You need to like move. You need to like find your spot, then find where you need to not to look, then turn, then I don't know. Don't like it. But the dragons after that were really cool, really amazing. Like it's a very unique optimization case, right? With like some jobs can AoE onto like Gunbreaker, Warrior, Dark Knight. They all do AoE onto, and Dragoon can cleave 2 dragons a lot of time. Like Samurai with dots, Monk with dots, but also they are not targetable all the time. They disappear and they like fly away and move, and like you can't always hit both of them, which makes it interesting and dynamic, and that's how fights should be, or like more fights, I hope, should be like that. The downtime Wrath kinda sucked, but it is what it is. P7, yeah. P7 was cool. It's a really cool last phase, like thematically, emotionally, mechanically, it's alright. I don't like how I healed it as an Astro, and I can tell that it's like infinitely easier with White Mage. Like even though it has been solo healed with Astro, White Mage makes that phase like significantly easier by having wings on Mord 1 and 3 and then Bell in between, while Astro can have neutral like on Mords 1 and 3, but macro isn't the same as Lilybell, which means like you probably want to use macro for the Gigas, but Gigas are pretty easy to heal. So in that case, Astro in a sec. I'll talk more about Astro versus White Mage when I'll get to the jobs, because I have some opinions, XD. But yeah, that's the extent. The fight was really cool. It was also very fun to speed. Like I did speed with my group, but it was like kind of sort of casual speeds. I did speeds with the other group, but we only really killed it once. It's kind of crazy how the fastest kill was still the kill from the release tier, and people did crazy things with having tanks take like all pro chance on the rewind, to get like enough limit break in phase 5 for melee LB3 before Death of the Heavens to kill Thordan really quickly. Good shit. Next is top. I really hate top. Like, just on a personal emotional level, I fucking hate that fight. I think it's bad. I don't enjoy doing it. It had potential. Like, as I mentioned, Firewall and Phase 2, it gives you very unique optimization scenarios where you have like 2 GCGs of cleave. That's very nice. More of that, please. But, and like in P5, it's also pretty interesting for some of the jobs. Like on Monk during downtime, PBs, counting cartridges as a gunbreaker with different kill times. In phases 2 and 3, it changes like your P5. That was interesting. But Looper is giga annoying and doesn't help. Like the way PF does it doesn't help it at all. Panto, like, is a very awkward mechanic with paddles like appearing at one time, but mechanics going off at a different time. So sometimes you like take a solo stack or like double stack and just fucking die, or like people not understanding how to move properly and dropping paddles all over the place. P3 is kind of boring. It's not bad, it's just easy. I don't know. P5, like, I like the optimization that you can do, but a lot of people hate it for the same reason, and I think it's a valid stance to have. And the other thing that really bothers me is like very, very short phase transitions and fixed duration phases. Like phase 4 and phase 5, they all have a fixed duration. You, like, once you've dealt enough damage, there is no reason to do more, there is no reason to optimize. And both of them have fake enrage timers, fake enrages, like you need to bring them only under 20% HP. But having short downtime between phases, like, I like that it's short, that I don't waste more time of my life, but it makes it very kill time specific. Like, if I don't get a Dragoon jump at the end of phase 1, it changes the whole rotation for the rest of the fight, and it like it changes things for Gunbreaker and cartridges. And it changes them not in a fun way for the most time. Like, sometimes it's fun on Gunbreaker to count cartridges, but when you kill like phase 1, 2, 3 at different times and it all changes, like, you need to math so much, it's, I don't know. And the worst thing is that after phases 1, 2, and 3, it's phases 4 and 5 where your damage doesn't matter. Like, maybe if it would be in the other order, it would be cool, but I don't know. Mid glitch is very awkward, where you can be too close while standing across the line. It was also extremely buggy on the release, with like tanks dying to auto attacks because weakness didn't fall off in time. They ended up fixing it, but I don't know, it's kind of weird how it was an oversight. And like there was a bunch of other things that bothered me, like the party synergy stacks. They are not stacks, they are enumeration, because if you don't have 4 people, you die. You take like significantly more damage. They also like pandits and the stacks when you need to make like a line at the end. The stack that you have there is also fake stack. It's an enumeration for the same reasons. Please stop doing those. It's, please, like the telegraph should match the fucking mechanic. If you make it different, I don't know, it's not that hard in my opinion. If there is an enumeration there is an enumeration marker already, just reuse those. Top also forces you into a specific comp with double melee. Like, it has been cleared with double ranged, but like it's hardly an argument. Like, you do want to have 2 melees. I think it's very bad / stupid. I don't know. There was something else that slipped from my mind about top. I don't know, maybe I'll remember it later. Let me check my notes. Right. With regards to strats, like, I am from EU, and here we have LPDU, like PF does ultimates, but Chaos, also the other European data center, also does those strats. And like, it's good to have a centralized hub for like strats and resources. It's kind of crazy that we don't have one. Like, we used to have like Solted, we have, what's his name, Hector Heckensen, Rinan, those people. But it is all kind of decentralized. But it's gonna be probably gonna be gone with the next expansion, and I'm adding like in-game toolboxes. But having one place for strats, like what ended up happening is people do one thing in PF and Savages, people do one thing in Ultimates in PF, and it's good when the strats are good. Like I think LPGU DSR strats are pretty good for the most part. But for instance, I really disagree with a lot of top strats. I think Looper should not be done like that. Healers should be given priority on movement because it's really hard as an Astro, for instance. I think Panto should be done the other way, where instead of getting chased by the pizza cone with a group, you instead chase the pizza cones. I've done both ways, and the other one is better, in my opinion. What else? Sigma strat from I really don't like LPDU Sigma strat, for instance. It's like I know 3 viable ways. The LPDU one, where it's based on your marker that you ended up next to when you do the spread. The other one is based on your lineup, where like your marker above your head, left and right, determines where you go for the knockback. I think it's better because it gives you more time to like put it in your head to like remember what you are, and you can start thinking about where you need to get knocked to as you're doing the first half of the mechanic, instead of like getting to the place, seeing your marker and feeling less time. And the third one is where you get to a marker and you count your distance. It's basically like Heaven's Fall, where you count from the north, or like the clone in this case. It makes you have less time, but it's not reliant on like macros or pictures. It's very easy to remember and execute, in my opinion. But having bad strats, it's not the end. What really bothers me is that people just copy these strats and everyone does them. It kinda removes the creativity of playing together as a group, coming up with something on your own, or like adjusting something for you to make it work better. Like whenever you want to change something, you usually get the reply is like just do like LPTQXD. And I went through, I don't know, a fucking whole lot of groups this expansion for various roles and roles and contents. Yeah, English is hard. And it extends to like rotations and FF logs. People just look up top logs and copy the rotation, and they don't think for themselves. And when kill time doesn't work, they start complaining, like, let's kill slower, or we need to kill faster, or something along those lines. Like, I am not trying to blame people for being lazy and copying things. If that's how you want to play, that's fine, in my opinion. But I don't like that as a result of this, what is happening is that a lot of the creativity is dying. Square X skinning kill the game, but like I would want to say, like, in the past, like when the player base was lower and resources were more scarce, as a result of that, some fun has gone as a result of that, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, that's the extent of PvE probably. And lastly, I want to talk about the jobs. I'll repeat myself. Last time I went like over every job and what I think needs to be changed and what I think will be changed. I play a lot of jobs. I play, like, I can clear week 1 on any job, and like I play jobs at a high level, like maybe, I don't know, third half. I don't know. I've gotten 99, so like multiple jobs, hundreds on Red Mage. I'm not trying to play flex, but I do play. I play this game a lot, and I play a lot of different jobs, and like I actively seek to put myself in a scenario where I play different jobs. Yeah, I guess I'll try not to like spend too much time on them, but we'll see how it goes. Paladin. I joked how they will turn it into a gunbreaker. They did turn it into a gunbreaker, except like worse gunbreaker. the first fix that they did was like really bad, where you had to skip atonements, but like now that atonements don't break your combo, or like combo don't break atonement, like that's how job should be, in my opinion. I don't really know what like people who play Paladin want. I think the job is fine if boring. If anything, one thing is please fix the hollow ground. The way all other invuls work, so you have any ability in the game has a cast when it starts casting. Even melee instant GCDs have cast times. Like if you hit the boss and it disappears and your GCD cancels, that's the cast time. Then you have cast resolving when the mechanic goes off, and then you have mechanic landing. You have 3 distinct moments of time. All other invulns except for hollow ground, like the damage usually snapshots at the end of the cast. And when it hits you, well, it does the damage that it snapshotted. But the invulns, if you press them between those 2 moments, I should probably draw a timeline for clarity. So you have cast, you have resolution / snapshot. Like this is where it snapshots your it snapshots debuffs, and I'm pretty sure it snapshots buffs as well, like defensives. And this is hit. All invulns except Paladin, if you press them here in between, will ignore, like Gunbreaker makes you not take damage. So like if you were hit for like 500k here on the cast, it will make it 0. And it's the same with other invulns, but Paladin doesn't do that, which makes it like it's harder to time essentially. Like it's less, it's most noticeable in top with the lasers at the start. It's like it's minor, but fix it. Also, like since they're all same duration, maybe make them the same duration. Yeah, same buff duration. Maybe make them the same cooldown. Like yes, hollow ground makes you not take damage at all, which makes it stronger, but I don't know, it's kind of awkward for top, for instance. And Warrior, next job, like Home Gang. I think Warrior is like the best thing about Warrior is Home Gang, because it's so short. You can usually get an extra use. On one hand, I like having this kind of asymmetry, but on the other, I don't know, like probably not with invulns. Other than that, I think the job is turbo boring. Please do something about the gauge. The other thing is the cooldowns that Warrior has are really weak. 20% max HP is not the same as 20% reduced damage taken. It's like slightly weaker because mass, not gonna go into it. But like Paladin has 20%, Gunbreaker has 20%, except for but like only for physical. And I'll get to it. But Thrill is a weak cooldown, and Bloodwetting is a weak cooldown because it's 2 10% buffs and a really shitty shield. Healing that Warrior has is like people say like, oh, green tank, but like nobody bloody fucking cares about Warrior like tank healing for the most part. It's almost irrelevant. Like maybe in P8 when one thing that was good about P8 is that it had a lot of busters, and like it actually tried to kill the fucking tanks, unlike all of the other fights where you kitchen sink like every tank buster and it's fine. Probably another thing that I would like to see changed in the next expansion. Where was I? Yeah, weak cooldowns, please buff them. Who's next? Dark Knight. There is a lot of button bloat. I don't really mind. I don't mind Dark Mind being magic damage only, because like even without it, with TBN and Ablation, you are pretty good. And like it forces healers to do something, because usually you don't even need to use healer cooldowns. I think Salted Earth could go, like it does 150 potency over 15 seconds, it's fucking nothing. Just make it an AoE and you press it second time for the whatever the button that you got. I don't remember how it's called. Salt and Darkness, yeah. They made Blood Weapon stacks, which is good. Delirium stacks, which is good. Like people complain about the in the releases and like Delirium, but I don't mind it too much, especially with how many other buttons you need to press. I think it's the job is fine overall. Yeah. And lastly, Gunbreaker. Gunbreaker is my go-to / favorite tank. I enjoy playing it. I enjoy optimizing it. One thing I would like to see is make it 100% parry chance. To make it on par with like Sentinel and Darkmind and Thrill, and make it work on all types of damage instead of only physical. It's not a big deal, but I don't know. I would like that kind of symmetry. You would like make it shorter duration, like Thrill and the others. I wouldn't mind. Random is good. I fucking love this button. It's a better Xcog. Xcog is a dogshit button in my opinion. I really like that they changed Bloodfest to 2 minutes. Yes, it made the job easier, but it was just kind of janky and clunky before that when it was 90. I have some predictions for what it's gonna be. There was how's it called, benchmark trailer today, and they showed follow-up to continuation to Fated Circle, which was very expected. It's 600 on 2 now, and Burst Strike on 2 is 560 if I remember right. This should be better. This on 2 should be better than this in my opinion, significantly better than 40 potency. Double Down is gonna get continuation, I'm almost certain, and we are gonna get Ogenamekiri, I'm guessing. You press Bloodfest, it gives you an extra GCD, and you do a big attack, and it doesn't consume stacks. Ogenamekiri essentially. Speaking of Ogenamekiri, I would really love Double Down to be direct crit. I don't like. I probably should have talked about it with regards to job overall, but some jobs are extremely crit dependent, which is not just the logs and the dick measure in contest. It can significantly affect your group damage. In top, it's very noticeable when you get low rolls and damage and you kill phase 1 slow, or you kill it super quickly. It affects peoples, it affects rotations. Or in P8, when the DPS check was really tight, being plus minus 10% on group DPS is kinda, not very good. Which is why having these extreme, outlandish big nukes being so inconsistent is bad in my opinion. While I'm talking generally about the jobs, I would love to see 2-minute meta is gonna stay here. It's here to stay. It's not gonna go away. But I would love the 1-2 minute cooldowns to do slightly less damage, and in exchange for 1-2-3s to be slightly more potent, to even it out more, so that instead of having your DPS look like this, it will maybe look like this, less. Fuck. Why is it so hard to? You get the idea. It's slightly more evened out to make it more consistent, simply. And in that regard, I would also like to see the self buffs. First of all jobs should have self buffs, except maybe for healers. But I wouldn't mind them being even stronger. No Mercy's 20, make it fucking 30-40. I think personal alignment with your own cooldown should be extremely important, and drifting outside of that should be punishable / more rewarded the better you do it. This Riddle of Fire, Dragon's Blood, or all those buttons. I think the buffs can be even bigger. White Mage. First of all, at the release of it took them so fucking long to make Misery DPS neutral with Glare. I don't know why it took them so long. Before that, I think the job was really bad. Not just from optimization, it kind of doesn't matter, but it puts a lot of bad ideas into a lot of people's heads with using being stinky with healing, only using it for movement and not using it for healing. I think the job was really bad because of that. I don't know, design wise. I kinda don't like White Mage because how easy and boring it is, but the more I play Astro, the more envious I am of like white mages, how straightforward and effective they are. Like I think overall Astro is a stronger job with some exceptions, but white mage just the raw output healing power when it matters, it just does so fucking much. Like P7 DSR, like I was talking. The hardest part about P7 is healing Akmorns, and White Mage carries that part extremely well. While Astro has a lot of tools and resources, but Astro doesn't have flash healing. Astro can't output as much healing per second as a White Mage, like not even close. It has shields, it has regens, it has extremely effective buttons, it has 10% mitigation, it has shields, like it has a lot of things, but as healing is right now, shield healers do like 70% of the job in regards of like healing and mitigation, and the other 10 is usually made up, that is like usually the raw amount of HP that you need to recover. And white mage are extremely strong and they're straightforward and easy, but they're also strong. It's like it's not a made up thing. It's like it's a job for people who are lazy. It's more effective in many cases. I don't know what would need to be changed. The thin air change was, I don't know, no real opinion. I don't play the job enough to speak about it. Lilybell, very good. Wings being global range, very good. Astro is my favorite healer, my go-to healer. I will likely be healing in the next expansion, and I will be Astro. I have a lot of thoughts about this job. Where do I even start? I'll start with the cards. Having only 2 cards on the start is annoying. Make it 3. I don't know. I don't see an issue why can't you have 3 at the start. If you have 3, people would still probably wait for a card. Like make you have 3, but make you only be able to draw during the combat or something like that. I don't know. Like it's not a big deal if you don't have 2 cards at the start. Like same with Dancer. I think good Astro, good Dancer should be able to adjust to any pull timer. And then Prog, I think you should be doing 5, 6, 7 seconds, whatever. You should not be doing long pulls. But yeah, I think like you should be able to get Astrodyne at the start. The card mini game is extremely fun. This is what makes this job super interesting, because ideally you need to know how every job works in every game, which is like I play everything, I get rewarded for that. I like that a lot. And 2, not only you need to know how every job plays, you need like in some fights, mostly in ultimates, you need to know exactly what everyone is doing. Like when I was doing DSR, I was sort of people joked how I micromanage everyone. Like I didn't don't tell people do this for my cards. No, you just need to be aware what they do. It's extremely important and it's extremely rewarding and extremely fun. I think that's very good. That's with regards to cards. The minor arcana is way worse. I mentioned how Astro doesn't heal as much as White Mage, and in many cases having like Lady isn't a dogshit button. It's a dogshit button because it's you're not guaranteed to have it. If you could have it every minute, it would actually be really amazing, because Astro doesn't have a lot of flash healing. This is a region, this is the region, this requires a GCD, this requires a GCD, this requires you to take a hit, this requires a 10 seconds preparation. Like, what damage happens, you can't restore, you can't flash heal. Like your best option is Horoscope, Helios Horoscope, but it's a GCD and you kind of don't want to do it. Having a 400 potency heal every minute would actually be very nice for this job. But obviously you want damage. I think the obvious change is just have both. Just press a button, get both of the buttons available to you. I don't know. Like it's more button bloat, but we'll get to that. Yeah, that's with regards to minor arcana. Divination is fine. Macro. Sorry, give me a second. There was a macro is an amazing button. I love everything about it. Not everything. I love almost everything about it. I'll get to it in a second. It's very unique. There is nothing quite like it in the game, and I think it's very fun to play with. It's a shame that it's a 3-minute long, and that it's only 15 seconds long. Like, one thing about holos and like holos, expedience, temperance, they are all 20 seconds. You can very often catch 2 raid whites into a you can often catch 2 raid whites into a 20-second window, but 15 is way more rare. And macro, like to make it full heal, you usually need to get 2 hits. Like it's fine that you can't always do it, but I think 20 seconds would be nice. Like in particular in top during Delta, White Mage can Lily Bell during Delta, and it like solves the mechanic the first half. Astro can't do that because macro is 15 and it's just not long enough. The other thing that really bothers me about macro is that if you cast it, it has a range, that's okay, but activation also has a range. And it's kind of annoying. Like I think having a limited application range is how it should be, but the trigger, like activation range should be global, or like 50, 60, 70, whatever. Like it should cover the whole fucking arena from corner to corner. Like not being able to activate it yourself, like yes, in a sense it like makes it cool and rewarding to know how to time it properly, but in the same sense it also makes it more limited, that you can't use it like later to catch 2 raid whites and trigger it guaranteed on everyone. I would love it to be what I said, to have a global activation range. Same with horoscope. Horoscope times out globally, it has limited application, but I think reactivation should be whole arena. I think that's how these buttons should be. And lastly, star. I would love star to be more flexible. Like yes, they already made it flexible by being fucking huge, so it like always hits. Doesn't actually cover fully all arenas. In Hollow Vault in top, for instance, you can't always guarantee it to hit everyone. I think I might be speaking out of my ass, but what I would like it to see is like the second stage be longer. Like instead of 10 seconds long, like it cooks for 10 seconds and then it's active for 10 more. Make it like 20, 30, I don't know, something. Make it longer, make it more flexible. I think it would be more interesting and rewarding that way, because now you just kind of place it on cooldown and hope that it aligns with mechanics and maybe shift it for a second or two, essentially. What else? Right. The other, I've been on Astro for so long, but like it's one of my favorite jobs right now, and there is a bunch of things I would like to see changed. They have promised a rework, so we'll see how it goes. I don't have high expectations though, especially after the Paladin. The last thing is movement. You are forced to use light speed in 2-minute bursts, in 2-minute windows. Well, not so much forced, but it's kind of how you're supposed to play job properly. And you don't have, so that's your only movement tool. You don't have anything else. You have macro, which is technically a movement tool, but you also don't really want to use macro for movement. You have like swift cast, but every healer has a swift cast. Meanwhile, every other healer has so many more movement tools. Like you are the most starred of globals because you need to play cards and you have a lot of buttons to press in general. So you might want so using light speed then swift cast for those, and you don't have any movement. Like doing looper is so fucking hard as Astro. It's like one of the hardest thing in the game, relatively speaking. Like to do it properly and not lose any GCTs, and like you sometimes you are forced to drop a GCT and just fucking run. Give us, I don't know, phlegma or stacks of light speed or something, or make it, I don't know, 30 seconds cooldown but last 30 seconds last 7. Something like that. I don't know. Make it usable. Make it useful. I need more. Maybe 2 stacks of it. I don't know. Something. Astro is like extremely movement impaired, more than Black Mage, more than any other job. That's it. That's the end. It's Astro. What next? Sage. Sage was the new addition. Sage is extremely strong. I think the strongest thing about Sage is Numa. Like, it just heals so fucking much. Zoe Numa heals so much. You are both the regen healer and the fucking shield healer in one because of this button. I think the job is fine. I don't really like. Not a whole lot of things I would want to see changed. One thing that kind of bothers me is that Holos is a very strong cooldown and Panheima is a very weak cooldown. This is like half a cooldown. This is like, well, sometimes it's a full cooldown when you get multiple hits, but it's kind of half usually. And this is one and a half, which is it's cool in a way, but sometimes it's annoying that like it feels like you're wasting resources. Either you are wasting resources by using Holos, or the other healer wastes resources because Holos is enough. But yeah, that's about it. I think it's really good. I think Karate is really cool the way that you can move it around. Like the DPS took a hit, you can move it for them and heal them essentially for free. I think it's really cool. Kradius is amazing for healing stacking, which doesn't happen often, but sometimes it's helpful. Movement with Crazy is good. Toxicon is good. It's just a very good job. They did the banging job with Sage, in my opinion. Which brings us to Scholar. It's in terms of healing, like raw healing, it loses to Sage, I'm pretty sure. Right, well, one thing I forgot to mention, they gave Holos a shield. Before that it was kind of weak, and Sage was kind of weak, but now because of that, I think Sage is like the best healer in the game right now, probably. Scholar, a few things about it. One, I would like Essence Drain to be gone. It was removed at the start of Shadowbringers or endwalker. It was gone at some point, and people complained, and I also complained, but that was like way worse at the game. I didn't understand what I was talking about. Now, like the issue with Essence Drain is that it puts a lot of stupid ideas in your head. We don't really need a soil, right? Like we are over mitigation. I can remove it, and I can do an extra Essence Drain. And then you do, and someone forgets a button, and you die, and it's kind of your fault. Well, their fault as well, but you know. The other thing is that having like your mana generation sort of tied to this, like to resource that you need to spend on healing, is kind of. I think these other buttons should also generate mana. Yeah. In terms of raw healing per minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever, I think it loses to Sage, but it's very strong and effective. Scholar is like one of the best jobs for solo healing, because like you often can get extra uses by replacing Soil and replacing Seraph, and sometimes you can get an extra use over the course of the fight because of that, which is cool. But it's also kinda rare. I said very often, and then I said it's kinda rare. I know it's a thing in top, and probably somewhere else, I don't know, but it makes the job strong in that regard. Crit Adlo is also stronger than Zoe Eucrasia, because like in terms of raw potency, deployment Adlo is the same as Zoe Eucrasia, but you also can guarantee a crit, which makes it significantly better, and you can also buff it with protection. This is another thing that makes Scholar really strong. Because you can just crank a massive shield and not worry about people for a while. I forgot where I was going with Scholar. I don't like playing this job. I think Sucker is bad. Emergency Tactics is weak. This button is weak as a healer cooldown for a tank. Fairy is still unresponsive. You need to replace your Fairy every time you desummon it. Dissipation is a bad button. Excog is a terrible button. This feels very bad to use to throw into. I think the Scholar is extremely strong job. In some cases stronger than Sage, but it's, in my opinion, very clunky and junky to play because of the Fairy, because of the Essence Drain, because of having to place Fairy all the time. I don't know. I think something should be done about it. Yeah, I know that Fairy was even worse in the past, but it's still not responsive enough, in my opinion. Cool. Right. Yeah, I said I would try not to spend a lot of time on the jobs, but well, here we are. Anyway, let's move on. Ninja. Ninja used to be my go-to melee, but I kinda fell out of love with it in this expansion, simply because the job is just boring. I think it's fine, it's just boring. I don't really know what needs to be changed on what they will. My prediction is that you'll get a button that takes two Raiju stacks and does like a massive nuke, and you use it 2 minutes. Every 2 minutes, and they will make so that the Raiju isn't broken by GCDs like it is right now. I think PK they buffed it like 3 times, and only now it's somewhat decent. It used to be like so much worse. I don't know why it took them so long to fix it, but well, it's fine now, I guess. I don't know. The job is fine, it's just easier. Like I mentioned before, I think personal buffs should be stronger. Like, compared to 2 minutes, 1 minute ninja trick feels kind of weak, and like even together these is 15%. Like make trick 20, make trick 30. I don't know. And like I was speaking, with Gunbreaker, make Hyosho guarantee crit. Ninja is like probably the worst job in regards to this, because a lot of your damage just depends on your Hyosho crits. I think it should not work this way. Next, Monk. Monk is the best melee, in my opinion, and probably my favorite right now, simply because it's the best, the coolest in Ultimate. In Savages, it's kind of whatever, you do the same thing. Having 2 PBs is kind of janky with skill times and double solar versus lunar solar opener, but it's not that big of a deal. However, the utility they provide, or not utility, the options they provide with different lines in Ultimate with downtime are unparalleled except for Black Mage. In top, like what made top bearable for me to reprog is playing Monk, because you do not do normal lines, you only do like some weird orthodox lines. You do Righteous Fire in downtime, or you do something like Dragon Kick Twin PB Rising Phoenix into Demolish. Like I call it split line, because you like stop halfway through your 1-2-3s and then continue. You do double lunar lines all the fucking time, where you do lunar, you do 1-2-3 refresh, your buff, your refresh, you dot, and then you do the other lunar. It's very strong with potions, and it barely fits in Troph, it's the strongest line the Monk has. I think, yeah, this job is really, really cool. Not sure what I would want to see changed. Like, I would like to be able to double weave Brotherhood without creeping. I would like maximum of chakra to be more than 5. Like, you still need 5 for chakra, but you have more, because you keep overcapping all the fucking time, which is as I think the buff could be more than 15%, or like this one more than 15 for the same reasons. An Atman should give you form shift, formless fist, because in downtime you need to generate your chakra, then you need to press this, then you need to press an Atman, like ideally, and you don't always have the time, and sometimes, like depending on which GCD you finished, you need to press an Atman earlier, and like having it give you formless fist like immediate, like if you press an Atman you hold it until the very end, or like ideally you press formless shift then an Atman. But sometimes you are forced to press an Atman early, so you don't have formless shift, which is kind of because it's not a big deal, but why not? Thunderclap is great. I think all Gapleos should be like that. Probably like they are very weak. They're very so weak that I don't really care that I drift them out of like buffs or 2-minute windows. They should be more used for movement utility, I think, in my opinion. I don't know what they can add to the job. The job feels complete right now, other than like double weaving issue. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what they do. But as of now, Monk is very fun, very good. Samurai, I don't play it. I don't barely play it. They removed Kaitan, and on one hand, I think the chitin wasn't a hard button to utilize. It wasn't hard to weave, wasn't hard to think about it. But now you just spam Shinten and it's just boring. Like it's almost a fake gauge now. Like remove would give stacks of this and the job would be almost the same. I don't know. Something should be done about the gauge or chitin or I don't know. In dummy fights, it's probably the easiest melee, as people say. In downtime fights, it becomes one of the hardest because of the randomness of how much tokens you get, whether you want to eat them or not eat them, whether how many ticks of shoha from meditation will you get. Sometimes you want to do like sometimes you want to do a bad Higan banner to get like an extra shoha stack to like get a big shoha, a full shoha like in Buffing or something. That's the good stuff about the fight. The downtime optimization is good. I really don't like that it's extremely GCD skill speed specific. I didn't say it with Monk, but Monk is also skill speed specific. I kind of like it sucks that like Samurai shares set with Monk and they use different skill speed. It's like very, very awkward to remelt every time you want to stop. 2 stacks of Tsubame, 2 stacks of Meiko is good because you can actually be flexible with using them now. 2 stacks of Tsubame, 2 stacks of Meiko is good because you can actually be flexible with using them now. But why is it 55? It like keeps drifting. It's not an issue, it just bothers me. The one other thing that I don't like about the job is that you need to do different amount of fillers. Or when you have a Genomikiri, you do one less filler GCD at that minute, and it's kind of hard to track. But it's like probably not an issue if you play Samurai enough. Yeah, I don't know. I think the job is fine. Kind of boring, kind of interesting in the downtime fights. It's like yeah, third eye is cool. Third eye is really cool. Fix gauge, do something with gauge, and it would be good. That's the extent of my thoughts. Dragoon. I used to talk a lot of shit about Dragoon because swapping high jump and gear is very clunky and it keeps drifting all the fucking time every you swap them. Which only I think in Ultimate and Ultimates you have downtime, so it kind of works out. So it's like the more I learned how to play the job, the less of a deal it became. It's pretty fun. Life Surge is kind of weird. Like sometimes you use it outside the blood. Like the cooldown is weird. I don't know. Give it a third charge XD. They will be reworking it, so like the job feels very complete right now. Like sometimes you drift outside. Like, it's kind of hard to fit everything into 2 minutes because your off globals and globals rotation, like they are completely separate from each other. But whatever. I think it's kind of easy to guess what's gonna happen. Gear is gonna be 1 minute, and it's gonna give you like you press gear and it gives you the blood phase, and you instead of it being on a duration of 30 seconds, you get like 3 Nastran charges, and high jump will be like just a damaging of global or something like that. Or maybe it's like high jump gives you a buff and you press gear and it serves you the basically stacks will go, and it's gonna be like one of them is gonna be 1 minute cooldown and give you blood. That's how it's gonna be. Other than that, it's fine. It's a busy job. There is a lot of buttons to press. It's not the most complex, but there is stuff to optimize. It's pretty good. Yeah, that's my thoughts. Which brings us to Reaper, which is, in my opinion, by far, by a fucking mile, the worst job in the game. Reason being is Plenty of Full Harvest is delayed by 5 seconds, and Shroud is delayed, not delayed, but like if you press Enshroud to your communion window, you need to press 3 GCDs before the next Enshroud is available. I don't see the point of it. I don't see why. It limits your options within your rotation because you need to do 3 GCDs in between. It forces you to play at 2.5 GCD ideally for Plentiful Harvest, and it's like also weird if you weave the Arcane Circle late. the plentiful will not appear on time when your GCD like rolls. It's just give it instantly. Why is it a thing? Like ideally just fucking separate them. I don't know, make this a real button. What's the bloody point? Make it a 2-minute button and that's it. The other thing I don't like is that the Soul River, Bloodstalk, whatever they're called, you lose them when you press any other button, which like it's not a big deal, but like it would also be nice if you could stack them and pull resources into 2-minute windows, which wouldn't really work with how long Enshroud is right now. Like if the Enshroud would be 3 GCDs for I don't know, maybe if it would be shorter it would work. But like the platonic idea that you have a Reaper when you like unlock it buttons is that you press circle, you press Enshroud, you do Gluttony, you do Plentiful Harvest, and then you do second Gluttony. But the job doesn't really work that way. All the fucking 2-minute windows are giga awkward, and that's about the cooldowns. The other thing that bothers me is that it generates less than 3 combos per 2 minutes. As where Red Mage generates slightly more than 3 combos per 2 minutes, which results in long fights. If you hit dummy for like 15 minutes, at some point you will not be able to do a double communion window as Reaper, while like it's your basic. You should always be able to do 2 communion windows. While Red Mage can always do double combo, it can always do triple combo, because dumping an extra combo is fine. Not having enough combos is wrong, in my opinion. Just, I don't know, fix it. It looks cool. The only good thing about the job is that it looks cool, and the Arcane Crest is nice. Also, the topic of Arcane Crest, give Dragoon a... Why is it? Oh, right. Give Dragoon a small personal. It should have one, in my opinion. Let me get a snack. Casters. Ooh, almost done. Summoner got the short of the end of the stick, in my opinion, in this expansion. Like when I looked at the jobs and when I was thinking what I'm gonna play for this expansion, like I was in my group I would have to play caster. I was thinking between Red Mage and Summoner. Initially I thought Summoner, I leveled as Summoner, but it's boring. It's boring and easy and clunky. Like everyone knows it's boring and easy and something should be changed, but it's very annoying that Bahamut isn't based on stacks. Like sometimes you clip a GCD, and as a result of that you lose a cast, and you start casting Ruin, and like your rotation drifts, you lose damage just because you slightly clipped a button or you don't have enough spell speed. I like make it stacks. Basically, make it stacks. Bahamut and Phoenix. The other thing that bothers me slightly is that you can't summon a second primal until you cast it 2 GCDs until 5 seconds has passed. It's the same as Reaper, and you also can't shield for 5 seconds. It's not a big deal, but like there is no reward to these limitations that you work with them. You don't get anything out of them. It just removes flexibility that job could have had otherwise. I don't know how they could possibly fix this. The job would need like completely work from scratch again. The 5 seconds delay is minor compared to Reaper. Just make Phoenix and Bahamut stacks and make it interesting. That's it. Red Mage. Red Mage is my most played job this expansion. I think it's one of the best designed jobs as of now as well. It's also sort of mandatory for prog, which I don't like. Like, I don't like that you you not so much have to have, but you really, especially of old progging, you are forced to have a red mage in your group for the raises, because it's insane how much value it brings. You also have 10% extra mitigation, which is not insignificant. But the reason why I like the job so much is that because it has mobility of a melee job, but it has a range, it has an uptime of a range job, well, almost always. Working with this cast and acceleration extremely fun to as your movement tool. Plus you have at least one melee combo, a free melee combo every minute to work with. Acceleration is an extremely interesting button, because it's obvious that you want to use it for the base understanding is that you want to use it for one for movement, then for generating a proc, but also you can use it to force a GCD parity. I'll think about it in a moment. And you can use it to give yourself an earlier GCD window to get Fleche or Contra. So one button has 4 uses, and you need to the extent of optimization of the job is around these 4 things, and prioritizing them properly and finding correct solutions. Yes, red mage is an extremely easy job. If you graph, I don't know, this is damage, and let's say this is complexity or your mastery of the job, you get it's very easy and you get good results, right? You learn how to do double combos, you are good to go, you can get high purples, you can purples. Then it's you play a bit, you learn how to do triple combos, you can get 100. I got my first 100 part before I understood these things, before I understood importance of this, before I learned how to work with GCD parity. But this is your triple combo. But then the complexity goes and goes and goes and goes and goes, but the reward of it is extremely small. The GCD parity is the idea that your first spell is slow, but your next spell is instant. Then you cast slow spell, you will get an instant spell. But when you press acceleration or swift cast or do a melee combo, it changes. If you plot out odd, even. So you get slow cast and then instant slow, instant. But when you use swift or axel or combo, it changes. It goes instant slow, and you want to start your combos either at -5 to embolden or -17 to embolden. So at some point, depending on how many of these instant casts you've done, Enhanced Reprise does the same, by the way. You might need to fix a GCD parity one more time to start combo at the optimal time, or you might want to fix your parity so that the instant spell on the GCD where you need to move instead of the one where you slow cast. There is a lot to red mage. It's easy, and it's not very rewarding to doing all of this, but it's extremely fun and interesting. The job has some jank. The dual cast getting consumed by sprints. Why is it a thing still? I know why, because it's a spell. It's a spell. It's an instant spell that doesn't share a global cooldown with GCDs. It's not an ability. Just make it a fucking ability. That's one thing. Other thing, I would like to be able to raise without breaking combo, but that's fine. Reprise is a DPS loss, but a good tool to use. What was 45 mana combo? Right. Flecky and Contra. They have very unusual recast times. And you can't generate proc every time and force all the necessary parities and guarantee that you don't drift these buttons by a single second. at the same time. You have to sacrifice something at some point. Like as long as you don't lose an extra cast, it's fine, but it is also a bit clunky at times. I'm guessing they would get a second stack next expansion, which I would welcome that. As for the predictions, I don't want an extra finisher because now it's about enough. Like it's just enough to get a double combo into Bolden and triple what's it called, Scorch Resolution into Potion. If you add an extra finisher on every combo, it's gonna break the job completely. However, what I would like to see is, since you are guaranteed to cast double combo every 2-minute window, what you could have is you do one combo with Verholy and the other one with Verflare, and after you've done casting Verholy, Verflare gives you like a stack of, I don't know, thingy, and when you have both stacks, you can cast a new extra big nuke, which would, well, depending how if it only works with double combos, it would be good. If you get it based off every Verflare, Holy could be a bit clunky, but I think that's my vision for the red mage. I think it just would be cool. Easy. Alright, black mage. Black mage is amazing. It's the best job in the game, with the exception of blue mage. If you play non-standard black mage, but like everyone plays non-standard black mage these days because it's I don't know why, because it's fun and there are resources now. It's not like a super niche thing anymore. And the best thing they've done to the job is given you Paradox, which gives you instant cast. It gives you a second ice thingy even if you transpose. So you can actually get enough mana with double transposes, and it's an instant cast, which is super useful. I am like not the very good non-standard black mage. I'm mostly freestyle, and you only need like 3 extra lines to freestyle, but still, it's extremely fun. One thing is, what I want to say is another instant spell in Fireface would be nice, but what I really mean is, it's not so much that I want an instant spell, another one, like you already have enough. You have Thunder Proc, you have 2 of these, but what you kind of want is being able to cast Triple or Ley Lines or Amplifier or Sharp Crest. Like, on 2-minute windows, sometimes you want to press Amplifiers, Ley Lines, and Triple like within the same GCD. Or like sometimes, or to use triple cast during a fire line, you need to spend an instant spell to cast a triple. Like, I would like to be able to weave like one extra thing without. I want to weave one extra thing during the fire phase for free. Essentially, that's what I want. Extra instant spell isn't necessary, but like as the game is right now, that's the only way I see of doing that. Third sharp cast could be helpful. Mana font is bad cooldown, maybe rework it into something useful. Ley Lines is, I don't know. I want to say that they will make it so it follows you around, so it's like a personal buff and you have a ring around you and you can walk with it instead of this thingy, but I kind of hope that they don't. I like the clunkiness of Ley Lines and all the memes that come with it. I don't know what they can do to the job without breaking it completely. I can think of quite a few ways to break it completely. I would like mana ticks to be more consistent, but obviously it's not exactly the intended way of playing the job. But yeah, let's see. I think as of now, this is the coolest job in the game, with the exception of Blue Mage. It is a limited job, and we're gonna get another one, but the job is just so cool. The job is extremely cool because you got Apocalypse now. I don't have it on my hotbar right now, but having 2 spells that lock you into the channeling thingy is extremely cool. You can do Moon Flutes every minute now. You have spells, or you have of globals on 1 minute, 2 minutes, 30 seconds, 1 minute. Then you have buttons that scale with your spell speed, and you want a lot of it. So the things that you fit into your 2 and 1 minute on-fleet windows change all the time depending on how long into the fight you are, because everything like goes all over the place, which makes the job super cool to play. It's just fun. It's just fun. Yes, it's clunky, but it's fun. I think I'm sad that more people don't do blue mage raids. Yeah. And lastly, right, I'll quickly go over ranges. I don't play them too much. I think Bard is fine. It's better now as it was. The Soul Arrow gauge, Soul Voice gauge is a meme. Please rework it, make these like actually 1 minute button instead of fake 1 minute buttons, as it like kind of works out now. Nobody cares about the dungeons, but Wanderer's Minuet should be like Pitch Perfect should be line AoE, because this song doesn't give you anything during AoE on the Paxton dungeon. This gives you GCD speed, this gives you Rain of Death, this one doesn't give you anything. And like it also already looks like a line AoE. It's, I don't know. Yeah, also Stride Shot should give you Shadow Bite. Like when you press Barrage, you should be able to press Shadow Bite. Yeah, that's right. Make the songs, make it so you can play the songs in downtime. I'm sure all bards want that, because downtime with bards is just miserable if you didn't get your song off. It breaks your job completely. It's like extremely punishing. Machinist, I don't play it enough. I can't really speak much about it. It also has a fake gauge, like battery gauge should not exist. Make it 1 minute cooldown and the job would be almost the same. I don't see a point of having it. The 2 minute windows are kind of weird sometimes, because this hit, I don't know enough to actually speak it, but something irks me that you sometimes you go into 2 minute window and you have way too much heat, and then you have like 75 heat and you're gonna generate like 15 more that you also have barrel stabilizers. I don't know. It's probably fine if you know how to play job properly, which I don't. It's one of my least played jobs. And lastly, Dancer. It's okay. It's actually more complex than what I thought it is when I started looking into it, with like doing like 3 standard steps over 2 minutes instead of 4. Like you're not always mashing this button on cooldown. 2 minute window, like you have to eyeball whether you can get an extra stack, an extra saber dance. If you can, you don't do standard. That is cool. A lot of buttons, a lot of procs. You can pull resources without actually, like you can pull funds and procs without actually wanting to kill yourself. I think that's good. It's a good job in a good place. Right, one thing they really should do is make it so... do you need a partner for that? I guess or maybe I need a dance. Your GCDs should tell you that you get a gauge for pressing the buttons. It's not written anywhere on them for... I don't know why. That's just UI thing. Yeah, but that's the extent of my thoughts. To summarize, I'll go quickly over everything again. Good expansion, just it's good, but nothing actually like properly stands out. Raids are good, but no like wow raid story. Like MSQ leveling was cool, but not as cool as it's not as fun to think about it later. Post leveling MSQ is giga-ass. Jobs are all mostly fine, but like some of them are too simplified. We're probably not gonna see like huge changes. Like I struggle to think of what extra you can add to most of the jobs. I would like more the general gameplay changes, with like squishing 2 minutes versus 1 minute, giving rated crits, giving stronger buffs. Maybe just change the GCD's visuals for most jobs. Like niches have been pressing fucking Aeolian for 10 years, and it's never been my favorite animation in the first place, but like I like Spin Age a lot, but give people new GCDs like Dragoon God and Red Mage God. More jobs should get it, I think, updated visuals. And the biggest thing that I want is the overall fight design change. More cleaves, more downtimes, more unorthodox fights, more things that break up your rotation. Yeah, that's about it. I would say something YouTuber like, let me know in the comments what you think, but I don't fucking care what you morons think. One thing, I wanted to rant about Reddit being like Twitter being stupid, and I had a joke already, and I don't know. Good luck on down trail.